Welcome to the MemberWise Best Practice series. This video is brought to you today by the MemberWise Network, the leading free-to-join best practice network for membership and association professionals. We hope that you enjoy this great presentation, and for further information about our growing network, please visit www.memberwise.org.uk.
Hi everyone. So as Rich said, I'm Sabine. I'm the Membership and Grants Manager for the Society for Experimental Biology. And today I'm going to be talking about how the SCB has moved from a fixed membership model to a rolling renewal model. So the schedule for today is I'm going to be telling you a bit about how the SCB's previous membership scheme worked, why we needed to change it, what things we need to consider when we're making such a move to a rolling subscription model, how we did it, and obviously what the benefits to SCB members were and to ourselves as an organisation. A little bit about the SCB. We're an international society for those studying or practicing or with an interest in experimental biology. The SCB is a very small organisation. We only have 5 members of staff. And our membership is about 2,400 members. Now, these are split into students, which are PhD students studying biology, early career scientists, which are those within their first 5 years of completing a PhD, so young researchers, full members, which are the actual researchers or academics in the field, and retired members. Our core activities are conferences. We run between 3 and 5 conferences a year, with our main one attracting up to 900 delegates. We also publish 4 world-class journals. We offer career support and advice and training, and we also offer financial support to those in the field through the administration of grants. The SCB has a 2.5 million turnover, and this is mainly income from our journals. Now, the SCB's membership scheme and how it worked before, it was literally a horse and carriage situation. We've had a fixed membership year that ran between the 1st of October and 30th of September, and this was obviously because our financial year used to run that way, no particular reason. So we offered no pro rata option because of the structure of our membership benefits. They were annual, so regardless of the time of the year when you joined, you still were able to take advantage of them. But this means that anyone who joined the organisation at any point of the year, they had to pay a full membership fee, so 1 year's membership fee, no excuses. And also they had to renew at the end of the membership year, so they might not get a full year for their money. Our membership processes were also very administrative heavy and not very user-friendly, so anyone joining had to fill in a paper application form. Also, payment was done at the office, you couldn't pay online. And the renewal processes, although we had renewal online, if you were changing from a student membership to an early career scientist membership, you had to contact the organisation and inform us that you've changed, and we had to manually do that for you. So not very user-friendly and quite a lot of admin for the office. So it was very clear that it wasn't working, the scheme, for our members or for us. And the reason we needed to change it was because it was creating barriers to joining. So by restricting the membership year to a certain fixed one that worked for us, people were waiting until the beginning of the new membership year to actually join the organisation. So we found that between July and the end of September, it was a very quiet period. No one was really joining the organisation. So it was a bit of a barrier there for people. But also the fact that you had to fill in a membership application form, it took a bit of action on your part to actually want to become a member. There was also a risk of losing members in the first year of their membership, because at renewal point, they would complain and say, well, you know, I've joined a few months ago, so why are you making me renew already? I've paid for a full year of membership. Why are you making me renew already? And the fact that they had to contact the organisation if they had to change membership also was a barrier for them in renewing. So it was a risk there that we had in losing members in the first year of their membership. But also the fact that the administration processes were so heavy on us and actually maintaining the scheme, it caused a barrier of growth to the organisation. The staff was so focused on, on getting these joining members and processing the renewals and dealing with the administration emails that we didn't really have time to focus on the development of membership or like growing the organisation, the capacity that it should be growing. Another thing to mention there is us depending on people telling us when when they changed from a student to an early career scientist membership, it meant that there could possibly be an income loss there. So we were dependent on them. They could have changed status and not have told us, and that would impact on the registration fees for the conference, so a whole lot of income that could be lost there. So definitely we needed to change this. But it's one thing to say that you want to change it, it's another to actually make the move. And what we found really useful, and I'd like to recommend it, is to take a step back and think about what such a change to a rolling renewal scheme would involve for your organisation and for your members. And the things that we've considered, and I'd recommend to you as well if you're considering such a change, would first be the workload that's involved in the resource capacity that you currently have. Rolling renewals essentially means doing more of the same that you're doing, 12 times a year, every month that people renew. So think about how much time are you actually spending at the moment on managing your scheme, and do you actually have the capacity of accommodating more workload? Well, for the SEB, you're actually looking at the membership team. It's me, and I've often felt like that, buried under a pile of papers. So I thought, no, I can't deal with this. I can't, not at the current state that we're in. So definitely there was a problem with the workload. So resource being a problem, and this ties in very nicely, you should look at your membership processes and see, is there any room for improving your membership processes? Are there any problems at the moment that you could probably iron out before you move to a new scheme? Because any problems that you have now will only multiply once you move to a rolling renewal. So the best thing to do this is to carry out an audit for your renewal processes and your membership processes in general, and just look at aspects that could be improved from a user's perspective, but also from an office perspective, to make the change as easy as possible. In terms of SEB's audit, it's quite scary. As I've mentioned already, joining was by paper application form, so the SEB staff was very burdened with me. I was very burdened with managing the processes, inputting membership application forms by hand, taking payments by hand, because there's no online option. Members obviously were not able to change their membership type online, so dealing with all these kind of queries and managing their changes. They're also not able to renew in advance, so we said renewal date is 30th September, and that's when it's going to happen, not a day sooner. We also had to send manual emails, so as someone joined the organisation, we had to send an email out welcoming them to the organisation manually. If someone renewed, you had to send out an email manually saying thank you for renewing. Renewal notification emails, manually. Everything had to be done manually. In addition, the members area was not very informative. So all you could see is your current membership type. You wouldn't know what your expiry date was. You wouldn't know what your membership history was, how long you've been a member for, any such things. So it creates a bit of confusion, and people obviously emailing a lot to ask this kind of information. It caused a burden on us. And probably the heaviest thing in terms of renewals was the direct debits that we were administering. We actually had to input every single payment that we collected by direct debit manually into the system. So for 200 people that we had at the time, manually sitting there and inputting payments, it gets a bit daunting. So yeah, consider your processes first before you move, because you're only going to get more of the same if you're not going to do anything about it. The next thing, having evaluated what our current problems are and processes, the question to ask is, have you got the CRM capability to deal with the change? Firstly, does it support an anniversary membership? Because some systems are built as such that they don't support an anniversary membership. But also, if you thought about changing your processes in any way to streamline and make them more user-friendly, would your current CRM be able to support these changes? And this is a thing to take to your current provider and see if there's any customization work that they'll be able to do. And if not, to think about maybe moving to a new system. In SEB's case, the computer said no. So we actually had to look at implementing a new CRM system to improve all of these aspects. The next thing is the impact that it has on member benefits. And I'm actually talking about the financial impact here. I'll give you an example of something that was a little bit problematic for us. We have our annual conference once a year in June. So someone on a rolling renewal scheme, someone who would join before the annual conference, would get the reduced registration rate for the annual conference, and that's our main member benefit. But also, if the registration for the conference for the next conference would open before their membership was expiring, they would be able to benefit of 2 reduced fees in 1 year of membership, whereas other people would benefit only of 1 reduced registration fee. So would this impact on our income from membership, but also on our income from conferences? These kind of things you should probably consider. And what we've done with the help of a new CRM system was actually implement a rule by which you're not able to register for a conference unless your membership is active at the time of the conference taking place. So the system would, if your membership is due for renewal before the conference is taking place, the system would prompt you to renew your subscription in advance. So this is one of the examples of how it would affect the membership benefits. So how we implemented the change after all these considerations? We literally moved from a horse and carriage to a 1940s car. We're not a Ferrari yet, but we are driving, I like to say. First things first, because I've talked about membership process, we have improved our membership processes, and the first thing to do that was to acquire a new CRM system. With the help of our new CRM system, we now have an online application form, so people are able to join online, pay online for membership, and this has made a tremendous difference. We've also improved our renewal processes. So we've introduced a field on our database called the SCB graduation date. So we now capture for all our students what their expected graduation date is, and for young scientists, what their PhD graduation date was. And this is the key information because the system now pushes you onto a new membership category when your current one is expiring based on your graduation date. But in addition, we also offer the option to move from an annual membership to a multi-year option online if you're obviously eligible for it. So at the point of renewal, if you want to opt for a 3-year membership, it's there for you. If you want to opt for a 5-year membership, it's there for you. So this encourages a bit more retention. We've also automated emails. So if you join the organisation, you now receive an automatic email welcoming you and offering you all the information on membership. And if you renew, again, an automatic email goes out. It's fantastic. I know you probably have this. Saying, thank you for renewing. This is your receipt. Thanks for your support. So all of this has significantly ironed out our processes and reduced the administration time for the office. The next thing to do was to look at our communications and the way we communicated with our members at renewal time. And previously, it wasn't that good, I have to say. We were notifying members of the fact that they were due to renew about a month before by paper, and then we'd allow about 6 months after expiry date for them to renew before we lapsed them. Now, communications between the time of expiry and those 6 months before lapsing were very ad hoc, as and when we remembered to remind them they have to renew. So we've now changed this, and we've implemented an 11-step process of communicating with our members. The process starts 3 months before members are due to renew, and it carries on 3 months after their expiry date, after which they get lapsed. And it's important to say that we've treated our communications for regular renewals and direct debit renewals differently. So they're treated as different payers. In our communications, we tailor them for different membership categories, but also we communicate all the benefits of renewing and the repercussions of not renewing. So everything is now tailored and targeted. And this is what it looks like. Our regular communication schedule for the regular payers, it looks something like this. So the first communication would be 3 months before they're due to renew, a letter from the CEO telling them about what we've achieved that year for members for your particular membership category and why you should be continuing to stay with us. 2 months before they're due to renew, they might get a renewal invitation. Further down the line, they would get a few reminders to say that you're soon due to expire, please renew, take advantage of this. And then it continues afterwards, informing them of their expiry, warning them about lapsing, and finally, sending them a lapse and confirmation and survey and reminder of filling in the survey. The next thing we had to consider, now that we had all these communications in place, is how we're going to send them. Are we going to send them by email? Are we going to send them by post? Obviously, sending communications by post, 11 of them every month to members, is very costly. But doing it by email and depending only on email communications would mean that you would have to have a very accurate email database. You'd have to have it very up to date. And SCB spends a lot of time in making sure that members' details are always up to date. So we actively chase bounce backs. We actively research new member details when the communications are not going through. So our emails are very up to date. Because of the new CRM system, we've opted for mostly email communications, but for a combined approach. A few of them are sent by post and the rest by email. So the system now sends you communications automatically when you're due to renew. We don't have to do anything. Well, we actually had to set up the process to send them automatically, but they now go every day automatically to members at different stages in their renewal process. And we did keep 2 of the communications by post for regular renewals, and that is the letter from the CEO and the renewal invitation. The reason why we chose a combined process was because when you get emails, what happens to them is unless you respond in the first day or the first 2 days, they keep going down in your inbox. So you only see them at that point. But we thought that if we send a letter from the CEO and the renewal invitation by post, at least you have a reminder on your desk of the fact that you still have to renew your SCB membership. And this approach worked really well for the SCB. The letters that we send by post are done on a monthly basis, so we don't actually sit there and send them every day, because that would probably be a bit crazy. And the next thing we had to do was actually try and organise ourselves and our workload every month in terms of what we had to do for all these people that are renewing. So we implemented a rolling renewal calendar. Again, we had a separate one for regular payers and a separate one for direct debit payers. But this is what the regular one would look like in terms of the 2 communications that we're sending by post. So in January, we'd have to send a CEO letter for the people due to renew in April, and would have to send a renewal invitation for the people who are due to renew in March. And so on February, we'd have to send a letter for the people who are due to renew in May and in April. So it really helps us organise our workflow and see what's happening, every month in terms of our renewals. Again, with the help of our new CRM system, we are now able to allow people to renew up to 9 months in advance the membership. So we thought, let's cheer this on, let's make them renew early. So we've introduced an early bird discount, and we're actively promoting it through our renewal communication. So they receive 5% off based on their membership fee if they renew up to the day on which they're due to expire. Direct debit process was no longer a nightmare. We now could do bulk processing, so we could enter payments in bulk, and it was no longer administrative heavy. So we thought, obviously we all know that it's a good retention tool, so we could now actually start and promote it to our members. And to do so, we introduced a direct debit discount, so everyone receives a 10% discount if they renew by direct debit. But we also started promoting the option actively. So we started sending communications to all our UK members and non-UK members, explaining that if they sign up by direct debit, they will receive a 10% discount, but also educating them about what direct debits are. Because you'd be surprised, most of them just see it as a way to lock them into membership, and actually telling them that, it's a more secure method of payment, you can cancel it any time. If we, so help us God, take the payment, and you've cancelled it, you can claim it back for your bank, and it's all safe and secure. So it was a big process of us trying to educate our members about why it's beneficial for them to join by direct debit. We've put the information up on our website. We're including information with all our new members that are joining, so we're telling them about the option to join by direct debit, and all our regular renewals will receive a notification saying, do you know about this option? Would you want to opt in? So far, this process only started like a few months ago, but we've always seen a 10% increase in our direct debit payers, so it's gone really well. We also improved our members area. So now they actually get the information they should be getting about their membership. They can see the time at which they first joined, so memories. If they joined in the 1980s, they will see it. They can see how long they've been a member of the SCB, how many continuous membership years they've had with us, when their expiry date is. But mainly they'll be able to see their order history, so they'll be able to see their activity within the SEB. And if they go to their order history, they can also click and just send themselves a receipt for any orders they placed in the past by email or print one out. So this has obviously taken the pressure off the office in dealing with receipts and payments. And finally, now that we've done all this work, we actually had to improve our renewal information and educate members about all the options they had on renewing. And I know it seems like an obvious thing and they should know, because that's what we thought. They definitely should know because we keep telling them every renewal. But put it out there. So we've put the information on our website and we've explained all the payment options, and we've included in all our renewal information, but also we've added frequently asked questions on joining the SEB, renewing a membership, and how to use the members area. And once you've done the FAQs, it's really good to include links in all your communications that people can refer to the FAQs. And all your pop-up error messages, it's quite good to say, rather than say, oh, something's gone wrong, contact the SEB office. Why don't you go to the FAQs page and see if there's an answer for what's gone wrong? And if not, contact the SEB office. So try to filter all these inquiries that we were getting from members. And it's worked really well again. So it's been really great, but what have the benefits been to the SEB? Well, we've seen an increased retention in our membership, mainly because the option of offering them multi-year payments online, people can see it at renewal time, it's there, so we've seen that a lot more people have opted into a multi-year payment. But also the communications are more structured and they're more tailored. So people are more informed about, you need to renew, you still have a month, So we've seen this, the renewal rates increase because of the regular communications and the structured approach that we've taken in communicating with our members at renewal time. We've also reduced barriers to joining because of the online application form that we've done and the online payments, but also because of the membership starting now on the date on which you actually join. So no one has a reason to wait for a few months before they join and then change their mind. So this has been a success. But also the main thing is we've reduced administration for the office. It's not something they expect to say when you move to a rolling renewal scheme, but we have reduced the administration time from membership processes. And what this has meant is that the membership function standing before you is now able to focus on actually developing and growing the membership. And we've got quite a few schemes that are in place at the moment and quite a few plans for future and, expanding in new geographical areas and how to grow our membership. But this was not possible before when we were buried, in a pile of administration and papers. The benefits to the SEB members, well, it's more member-focused. It's not focused on SEB, it's focused on our members. The processes are more user-friendly, so they're able to join quickly, with no hassle. They're able to renew quickly with no hassle. They actually get the service that they expect, and they get a full membership year for the money that they pay. No excuses for that. It's the standard that we all expect today. But also by tailoring our communications for different categories and, assessing the way we communicate with them, they're better informed about the membership value. And I think this is reflected in our increased retention and increased renewal rates. So it's been greatly appreciated by our members. So this was our journey, but I'd like to thank MemberWise for it, and the Perfect Membership Scheme booklet, which has actually been, I was saying to Rich, like my long-term boyfriend for the past year, and my Bible. Since I came to the conference last year, I walked away with it, and I never put it down until the scheme was implemented, because it tells you everything that you need to know and everything that you need to consider when moving to a rolling renewal scheme, things that you might not even think about, so complementing what I've said today. And I've seen there's an updated copy here, so if you're thinking about changing your scheme, do grab one of these and don't put it down until you actually do it. Thanks, Rich, and thanks the team that put this together. It was brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
This online resource was brought to you today by the MemberWise Network, the leading free-to-join best practice network for membership and association professionals. Find out how we can provide you with more practical help and support at www.memberwise.org.uk.